If you have a job and you want to leave it and open up a business, stick around because I've got some really good insights for you because I used to be an employee for over like my whole life, but I was a marketer for over 20 years and then I left to start my own business. I've been in business for almost 6 years now and doing very well. So I wanted to share some insight with you because the shift from being an employee to an entrepreneur is a complete mind shift and you need to be prepared for that. Okay. So if that's what you came here for, stick around all the way to the end. I got some stories to tell you, and this is going to be a fun ride. So here we go. I was working as a radio sales executive for almost 20 years. And in the process, I had to learn how to do outside sales. I became very good at outside sales and very good at client services. And it's pretty independent in that job where we had a boss who was like, if you're in the office, you're not working. So, and he said that his boss used to take everybody's chairs away so that they wouldn't come back to the office. If you're not out in the field talking to people, then you're not producing. Today's a little bit different with technology, and you can do Zoom meetings and people can work from home, and you don't really need to be out and about the entire day, but it does help. So, the reason why I'm telling you this is because as an employee, I thought of my book of business as my book of business. Like I owned that. I procured business, I brought in the business, and those clients were mine. I had the relationship with them. So it's a little bit easier for me to transition from being an employee to an entrepreneur. But there's a huge difference when you work like you're an hourly worker, then you have a different mindset about how you monetize your time. And with entrepreneurship or with owning a small business, you think differently about that. You don't put like a dollar figure on the number of hours that you work, because if that was the case, you get paid very little. Like, for example, website development takes a lot of man hours. And if you broke that down to an hourly wage, it would be very, very small. Even though it costs a lot for a website, that takes a lot to go into a website. So, you're changing from being an employee, you think about your hourly, you think about your benefits, you think about your PTO, your vacation, like, oh, I can't wait to get away and go on my vacation. And you don't have to think about work while you're on vacation. Let's say you work for the state, or, you work in a hospital or something. You don't have to think about your work when you are on vacation. As an entrepreneur, you're always thinking about your work. All of my friends are entrepreneurs, business owners, all of them. And every single one of them they don't go anywhere without their phone, and they go on vacation with their laptops, and their spouses always have to tell them, "Hey, come on, man, close your laptop. Let's go to the beach or whatever." And like, oh, wait, I just got one more email to do. That's really the life of an entrepreneur. It's hard to turn off your brain. You do need to do that because you need some R&R, you need some downtime, rest and recovery. But being an entrepreneur and being an employee are completely different mindsets. So I have a story, and I try to keep my personal relationships out of my YouTube channel, but I'm going to bring this one in because it is relevant. And that is my ex-husband. So I had a hard time because he was an employee, he was an hourly worker, and he had his PTO, he had his days off. And when his days off, he didn't ever have to think about work when he was at home. So, if I'm working on a project and I got to work on a Saturday, he'd always get mad and always tell me like, "Come on, man, why you gotta work on a Saturday?" It's like, because it's work to be done. It's not like work doesn't stop just because it's Saturday. If I'm working on a project and I'm not finished, I have to finish it. Or, there's time sensitive things that you have to get done that you just cannot like not pay attention to, because if like in my business in advertising and marketing, time is currency. So if you don't get things in on time, you can't go back in time and fix it. So, he would always harp on me. So just be prepared for that. If you are an employee, you want to leave your job and go be independent and have your own business, be prepared for your partner to give you a hard time about like, "Oh, come on, man. What about, you got to go take the kids to soccer, and you have to teach people how to respect your time when you are a new entrepreneur. I remember my dad in 2010, I got laid off from my radio job because, things from the 2008 mortgage crash, and it was finally catching up. So they laid me off. And right away, I mean, I was unemployed. The first time I was unemployed in like decades, because I always went from job to job. Like I was never unemployed since I was a kid. And, anyways, so I was at home and I was trying to figure out, how to make some income. So I started selling insurance with this multi-level marketing company. And although I didn't really have an office per se to go to, because I worked at home, and my dad would always tell me like, "Hey, go on your Google machine and look for this. Hey, what are you doing? You're not working. Go do this. Hey, you're not working. Go run my errand." And so people in your life will think, he's working from home. He can take care of the kids. He's working from home. He can pick up my laundry. She's not doing anything. She's got to go make dinner. It's like once you become an entrepreneur, the shift of responsibility in your household is going to take place, right? Because your priority now is making money for yourself, for your family, building your business, and being successful, because nobody wants to leave their job and go and start a business and then fail. You want to be that guy. 80% of businesses fail in the first year, and 20% fail after 5 years. So shifting from an employee to an entrepreneur, you got to be prepared for people not respecting your time. So you have to set clear boundaries and tell them, these are my work hours. I don't want to be disturbed. And maybe you got to go work at a coffee shop, or maybe you got to go and rent an office or something, so that people can respect your time. And that mental thing about getting ready and going to work instead of sitting at your desk in your pajamas with your coffee working, that's not being an entrepreneur. That's just like, working from home. It's totally different. Another thing you need to be prepared for in your journey as an entrepreneur is that you got to think about your health insurance, your dental, your vision, and all that, because you got to pay for it on your own, or you got to hop onto like your husband or your wife's policy. And so that's something that you got to consider before you make that transition from employee to entrepreneur. So those things they cost a lot of money when your employer is not paying for it. Okay, so be prepared for that. And then the nice thing about being an entrepreneur versus an employee is that you get a lot of business write-offs. I try to find a reason to write everything off. I mean, don't we all? Right? So if I'm going to lunch, I make sure that it's a business meeting, and I don't fool around with going to lunch with friends, or I do dinner with my friends because it's not during my productive hours. And that's another shift in your mindset when it comes to your work day. You don't have to work like 9 to 5. Most days I get up at 4. Yes, I get up at 4, not because I have to, but because I want to. Because what I want to do is be at my desk working by 6 o'clock. So I get up, do my coffee, do my dogs, do all this. I get dressed. For work, and I sit at my desk like this, dressed. A good example was a few days ago, I didn't have any appointments. I didn't have any meetings to speak of. And I just got ready like I always do. And I'm sitting at my desk and I'm working. And one of my clients is at an event, and she calls me in a panic. And she's like, "Oh my God, can you come help me? I can't, there's too many people here and I wasn't prepared for this." So I quickly had to gather up some things and then go and meet her at this event, to help her out. And if I was sitting around in my pajamas, I didn't have my hair done, I didn't have my makeup on. This here, in case you didn't guess by now, is my brand. I always get ready. I always said my makeup was always on point, and not because I feel like I have to, but because I enjoy it. It's something that I enjoy doing for myself. So my makeup, I always get compliments on it. But anyway, I digress. So again, the shift from being an employee to being an entrepreneur is a big, big shift. Here's a huge shift in mindset. The determination when you are independent and when you work on your own, and if you don't work, you don't get paid, then you just have this fire in your belly to go and do more and conquer the world, because you know that the work that you do today will reap the fruits in the future. So you can't be lazy. You can't be thinking, oh, I'm caught up on all my work. I think I'm just going to go take a nap. No, if you are independent and you have some extra time, then you go and work ahead, or you go and you make some extra calls, or you create a new product, or you build out some of your services. You look at marketing ideas. So you're always looking at ways to build your business, build your revenue, build your client base. You're always thinking about building your business. And like I said, you just got this just burning desire in you to go forth and do that. That is what an entrepreneur is made of. And we don't get tired. Yeah, we get tired. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years, over 20 years. And like I said, is this burning desire to succeed. And it's not a greedy kind of thing that you want more, but you just want to feel like you always accomplishing more things and more things. There's a really great sense of satisfaction when you have overcome something huge. And as an employee, I don't know, I don't know that I've ever had that feeling when I was working for somebody else. As an independent entrepreneur, if I don't work, I don't eat, because, you know, I don't have a husband anymore. Got divorced a few years ago. So I'm on my own and I have to take care of myself. I have to think about making money for today, and I got to think about making money for the future. And that's what you're looking at. This is my plan for my YouTube journey, is to build some income for the future. And right now I'm just making videos, but in the future I have big plans for what I'm going to do, and perhaps I'll share it with you one day. So this is this chat I wanted to have with you about being an entrepreneur and shifting from employee to being independent. So what I would recommend, if you are thinking about doing that, you should do it part-time first. I always tell people that if you want to start a business, always start part-time, because unless you're independently wealthy, or you have a husband that makes a cajillion dollars, you can go and you can take all kinds of risks. But if you're like the average American, you're a two income household, you can't lose one income just to go and try something. So as an employee, you have utilized all of your spare time, your evening, your weekends, use that to do your research. And, like I have another video that you can check out. I'll put a link in the description, another video about seeing whether or not your business idea is viable, because that takes some time. You got to do some research on that, and you can do that while you're not an employee. So you can kind of figure out, do all your due diligence before you jump into entrepreneurship, to see if that's even something that you want to do. If you want to monetize your hobby, you got to make sure that that's something that you want to do for like the next 10 years, because that's what you're going to be doing day in and day out. If you love baking cookies and all you do is bake cookies full time as a job, you're going to hate it. I was watching this video, or I heard of a story about this lady who loved baking pies. And so she decided to open up a pie shop, and everybody loved her pies, and they were fantastic. But that is a very labor intensive kind of business. If you're not like rolling out the door and making pies, you're not making money. So eventually she hired another person because she was getting tired of making pies. And then I think she hired another person. And she hired a manager because she was tired of making pies and she was tired of managing people. And what happened was her business just went in the toilet, because these are employees and they don't care about her business as much as she did. So she lost her opportunity because she didn't like making pies anymore. But so that's important to remember, that if you want to be an entrepreneur, it's not about making pies. It's about seeing the reaction on people's face when they eat the pie, or how happy they are to find somebody that makes really good crust. So you being it, making people happy, satisfying something, solving a problem, that is the thing that you're doing when you're an entrepreneur. I solve people's problems. I bring them customers. I have them make their phone ring. And, I don't do advertising or digital marketing. That's just the vehicle that I use to bring my clients their happiness, which is customers. So that's what I had to share about that. So look at the video, and I also have another video about why businesses fail. So that's important to watch too. If you are thinking of transitioning from being an employee to an entrepreneur, you need to take a look at a bunch of my videos, because I know a lot of people that have done that and they failed and they've gone back to their job. I also, as a caveat, need to say that if you do that, you leave your job, you start a business, and you find out it's not for you, because it's not for everyone. It really isn't. And there's no shame in that, and there's no harm in that. If it's not for you, go back and get your job, and then you can have your peace of mind of having your medical paid for and your vacation time. And when you leave work, you don't have to think about anything else but yourself. That's perfectly fine, because the world is full of people who are good at what they do. And I'm good at what I do, being an entrepreneur. Maybe you're good at working at the DMV. Who knows, right? So, anyways, go check out some of my videos. I have why businesses fail. I have how to start a business. I've got a ton of videos in there, because that's what we do. We help people to build and grow a business. All right. Well, that's all I had for today. Check out our new video. See ya. So, um, I lost my train of thought, and I was gonna do this straight all the way through without editing. Damn it. Blah blah blah. Rewind. Um, damn it. I lost my train of thought. What the fuck was I talking about? Okay, there it is. I knew I'd find it.